Does that then mean it's going to take you a long? So is it hard for you to scale?
No. What's why?
So could
Everything
you have?
is scalable.
I know. Yeah, that's what I mean. So could you have an agent that builds agents?
Yeah, I don't think they have that yet.
Yeah.
But
You know what I mean? So I'm trying to say, like, how could you sell 10,000 of these agents to people?
I don't know.
You don't know that answer yet. Yeah. That's what I'm
No,
just thinking from your
so
perspective.
there's
Because
two
it
ways.
would be a long process. If you have to build 10,000 agents now,
Yeah.
that's a big process. Oh, if you have 1,000 employees and you want all your employees to have a Julia,
Yeah.
can that work too?
Why not?
No, I'm asking you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've said, hey guys,
I think it's going
we've
to be
now
the point
rolled
where
out
you're
a
going
new
to have
AI agent.
They'll be numbered.
This is our agent. Her name's Julia.
37.
So each person will have their own Julia number.
Well, how many names are you going to have? If you've got, you're
So
got a
no, but
business out.
I'm looking at it from what the agent does.
Yeah.
So by putting him in a box. So Julia is our email and organizing agent, our
just like an
scheduling
assistant.
agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like your own personal assistant.
Yeah.
So everyone, this is Julia. Julia, this is everyone.
Yeah.
You know, everyone gets to meet her and has those. So could she be intertwined with all the other Julias, like Julia 14 and Julia 37?
Yes.
And know what these people do and how they talk and all that sort of shit?
Yeah.
And then learn from that as well? Like, would she learn about the company, about how everyone writes emails? Then maybe I could have Julia number one, right? Because it's the number one. I say, Julia, who's fucking up? Send me a report. Who's not doing this? Who's doing that? Like, can you do that?
As in, can they see what other people are doing?
Yeah. Could Julia number one see what all the other Julias are doing?
If you set it up that way, yes. If she has access,
Yeah.
But can you see what your employees are doing?
If I wanted to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
why can't this be set up like that? There's only one way that you would see your employees that's not transferable, and that's by sitting opposite them.
Yeah. So the AI agent itself then, do you need to train it per employee?
No, why?
No, I'm just asking. Because they're going to have different ways that they operate. You know, I don't mind if they have different ways of doing things.
Your employees bend for the business, not
Yeah.
the business doesn't bend for the employees.
Yeah, but if they have a certain way of filing that works for them, for example, and they want to do it a certain way, as long as they're getting the work done, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but that's just a bad training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Humans are hard to train.
Yeah.
They're stuck in their ways, blah, blah, blah. You train this however you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I have 10 children and I train all of them the exact same way, they will all come out pretty similar. Like you'll find like the family, they all do this or they all like this, whatever it is. They'll all come out fairly similar. Yes, you can argue, oh, but this kid does this and this kid does that. And it's usually because there's a slight difference that you haven't paid attention to, in my opinion. I don't think humans are born with traits. Do you reckon humans are born with traits?
No, they're given. They're put there
Picked
by
up.
others.
Yeah, they're picked up something, you know what I mean? Like the traits are all picked up from things that we're not even aware of. We lack awareness around, even though you can sit there and say, I'm an enlightened individual, it's like you still lack awareness.
Yeah.
Like you're not aware of everything. You cannot be aware of everything. It would be sensory overload.
Yeah.
You can't pay attention to every single fucking thing that's happening.
Yeah.
And this is like that. So you can train these. And if I train one and this is my training regimen, so this is and by training, I mean feeding them information. Yeah. So I give them a bunch of information and they work off that. That becomes their knowledge base. If I go copy and paste that, the next one should do the exact same thing. They don't sit there like, oh, but I like to do it like this. And it's like, no, you don't. Do it this way. This is how we do it. And it knows it's broken down into a series of steps. You know what I mean? Humans are complex.
Yeah. So now I've got Greg working for me, AI agent, and you've actually somewhat built this already. And Greg's just going to call everyone that's going to come to our next event.
Yeah.
Say, hey, Robbie, great to see you. Really excited to have you at the Next Success Conference. Such and such, just wondering if you have any questions, but whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So it's this agent's actually calling every single person.
Yes.
And getting the information.
Mm-hmm.
You're actually building that for us as we speak.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah. That now instead of me paying my PA to do it
Yeah.
for 3 days, this AI agent can now will it make one call at a time or does it go out and make 30 calls or 50 calls at a time?
So if you're going to do that, you got to connect 50 phone numbers.
Right.
Which, unless you had a large amount.
100,000 people you have to call.
Another thing you need to factor in is like, can it process that much information at once? If it's talking to 150 people at once, can it comprehend everything happening all at the same time, and how powerful the models are? Because the models are getting more powerful.
That's what I mean. Like, I would imagine that this is at a point where it's getting to become limitless. Like, what's the constraint? Is it electricity? Like, is it memory? Is it like, what's the constraint?
Yeah, it's they aren't completely developed yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. They're developing over time. Like, they're getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And then if you realize there's different models. So if you go into ChatGPT and you'll see like, you might have GPT 440, right? Or 4.0. And then there's 4.5. And then there's 3.0. And there's 3.0 mini. And there's 4.0 mini. And it's like everyone has slightly different, more capability. It's like, hey man, I've trained this kid to be good at maths, but this one, she's a really good writer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like they're both great, but they're both more skilled in different ways. Yeah. So you can have different, they refer to it as the brain, right? So like there's 3 aspects: the tools, the brain, and the knowledge base. You can have different brains for every single, and that's why you wouldn't have one doing everything.
Yes. Okay.
Now, will it get to the point where you might have one doing everything?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's cool that we've got that one getting built at the moment, because thinking about, as you said, I don't have to pay it. It's getting it done in probably a lot quicker time than someone physically picking up a landline and calling and dialing the numbers and, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Oh, I forgot to tell them that shit.
The cost.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so we have a sales co-pilot. So, and what that is before anyone gets on a sales call, we input someone's LinkedIn URL and their website, and it goes and it scrapes their website, scrapes their LinkedIn URL, and it tells us everything about the individual, the company, and then knows everything about our company, so how we fit in. So it'll be like, hey, Robbie, you're going to work with George. George's weak points in his business are this and this and this, and I think your company can help them really well from this angle. You know what I mean? It gives me some opening lines. Yeah. It gives me, and this is what we've trained it on. So we can train it to be whatever we want. I can be like, hey, you're only giving me 3 opening lines. Give me 5 every single time.
Yeah.
And so, okay, cool. Hey, you mentioned this every single time. Don't mention this anymore. Okay, cool. And we just continually refine it, right? Yeah. That's a very basic type model. But if I said to someone on the team, hey, I'm going to meet with George from Pascon. Can you go look at George's, go look at his LinkedIn
profile, yeah.
Go look at his website, and then I want you to provide me a full summary of how I can approach this call. Like a 1-page summary. How long would that take?
Yeah. 2-3 hours, 4 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
Time.
How much is it going to cost?
Yeah. Exactly. Their hourly rate.
Yeah. What are the
plus the opportunity cost of
30,
everything else they could do.
$30 an hour.
Yeah.
So it's going to cost you $100 to get something like that done.
Yeah.
It costs you about 3 cents. And it happens instantly. So you get it within a minute, maybe less. Like that. Because it goes, it looks at the whole LinkedIn, comes back, looks at this whole thing. I reckon it'd be close to a minute.
Yeah.
Because it's got to scrape the data and do all that. But within a minute, you've got this full summary. It's cost you 3 cents. And all of a sudden now, like imagine you had someone dedicated to market research in your team. That person's gone. He's lost his job.
Yeah.
Because now I've got someone who can do it 100 times quicker for 1/100th the cost. How do you compete with that? You don't.
Yeah.
So no cost or low cost.
Low cost.
Yeah. Low cost. No annual leave. No sick leave.
No HR issues.
No fair work letters.
And it'll probably get to a point with very few mistakes.
Yeah, well, it'll be less than once, and as it continues to develop.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It continues to develop.
It's just going to start to nail everything every single time.
Yeah, it may not be perfect the first one.
Yeah, but here's the best part. Here's the best part. So let's say you got a really complex thing that you do. Let's just say, for example, tenders, quotes, tenders, estimates.
Yeah.
There's a lot of detail in an estimate, right? So then you notice, you're like, fuck, man, like it keeps making this error or it keeps making that error, or, 1 in every 5, there seems to be an error. Okay, so let's build an AI agent that can check this for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, let's build something that can then refine it and is taught to train this and tell it when it makes a mistake. And then all of a sudden you got Greg and Julia talking and Greg's training
Julia.
because obviously men are better. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. Now that thing I had to do manually, I don't have to do anymore.
Yeah.
It's like it's already getting done.
Because that's where I saw, you mentioned it, like that's where I saw a huge inefficiency in my business was the tendering aspect of things. And, there's even human error to take into consideration.
Yeah.
Have I made a mistake on doing a takeoff? Or did my team make a mistake on doing this or doing this? Whereas this will be able to look at the plans, interpret them, and in 10 minutes give you, okay, George, this is going to cost $6.4 million.
Yeah, and probably be
$6.4 million,
more,
$6,483,913 cents.
Yeah, and probably be more accurate
That's
than, or at least get to the point where it will be more accurate than.
And that's an agent that, man, you build that, it's worth millions to you, to a person building that, like as into a company. That's worth so much money. Because all of a sudden, what used to take me 6 weeks time.
This is where you're getting wrong. It's not an agent. It might be 40 agents.
Yeah, whatever it is
Do you
that
know what I
does
mean?
that. So one. So would you have one that does the takeoff, one that does the money, one that does
probably.
whatever it is,
Probably.
the proposal?
Yeah, and then one that you give the information to at the start and say, go sort it out. And then he goes and speaks to every single one and then comes back to you 20 minutes later and says, here. And then you're like, what the fuck are they doing here? Do you know what I mean? And you look at it and you start flipping. And you go and you say, what the fuck? You guys want your jobs? Because I'll replace you.
You want Christmas?
Yeah.
You want your Christmas bonus?
Yeah. Do you want to go home and see your families? Because I will replace you very fast.
Yeah.
Understand?
So that's the sort of shit that's so powerful there. That's from me thinking about, and you nailed that for me. That's worth its weight in gold. Especially like if there's a level of nervous, I'd be checking it at the beginning anyway, as in probably doing it manually myself and getting them to do it to see how accurate it gets, or how close it gets.
And then you're like,
but even
you're like
okay,
it's off. And
2
it's like,
nights,
you're off.
Yeah. 2 nights ago, yesterday, I submitted a tender. And for me to put the actual, so I did all the numbers, had everything there, it was all good to go. And then putting the actual proposal together took me throughout the day, let's say a couple of hours. Right? I know for a fact that you train an agent to do that, it'd be done in like 3 minutes or in 30 seconds.
This is where people will get let down. It's like most people don't know what they want.
Yeah.
And it's like, you put the proposal together and then they kind of work it out as they go and they're like, this is good enough, whatever. You know what I mean? You need to have things templated, defined.
That's right. And that's what I've kind of got that already. Yeah. So I've got a lot of templates and I can say, this is a example of the proposal that I give.
Yeah.
And it's got all these all this thing, all this, blah, 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 blah. It needs to include all these things. And then obviously I would still look through it because it might be specifics or things that I need to update or whatever it might be. But ultimately, instead of that taking me 2 hours or 3 hours to put together,
it might take you
takes
20
10.
minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like it's a much simpler process and it saves me so much time. Not only has it done a 6-week job for me in half an hour, it's then done the 3-hour task for me in 5 minutes and taken me 20 to do.
Yeah, and it's like the same way you would look over it when you gave it to a new employee.
And that's the exact same thing.
And you'd still say, let me check it.
That's right.
Let me just make sure that this was right. Mm-hmm. And you'd see what they did and you'd be happy with it within your company's guidelines. The exact same thing until you got to the point where you're like, I know they're good. Like, I don't have to check this anymore.
That's right. That's right.
Like, they are good. Like the same way you build that
it's not going
trust
to make a mistake
with an employee, you're going to build it the same way here.
Yeah.
The same way they're going to understand how you communicate, it's going to be the same thing here. The AI is going to learn and it's going to be like, I'm going to double check this because George gets angry. Because George gets angry when there's an error on the last bit.
Yeah.
And it takes that in. It's got the ability to reason, which is thinking. You know what I mean? And this is something we haven't dealt with before.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to change everything, dude.
Yeah, man, it's so cool. Look, do you know what would be great? It's like when we double back on this conversation in 12 months' time. And then we've got agents in the business. You've got things that are happening, or you see where the space is, and everyone knows what an agent is, and it's like a normal part of life. And then you see everyday people using agents, even like a mum or a dad to order their coffee, in the morning.
That's going to happen. This is what I think people aren't understanding. It's going to get to the point where imagine at one point people were like, wait, you connect your thing, you plug it into the wall, and you connect and you dial something, and it makes these weird noises, and you connect and you can talk to other people somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, that's bizarre. Like, how do you
On
know
the
who's
other
on
side
the
of
other
the
side?
world,
Yeah, how do you
yeah.
know who's on the other side? That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And now it's like you fucking take Wi-Fi off a kid, he turns into a crackhead. Do you know what I mean? They fucking lose their shit. We can't live without the internet. We become so dependent on it. This is that. People are going to become so dependent on it. Like so dependent on it because this is so powerful. It's just going to become a way of life. And we're not going to remember what life was like. Can you imagine not being able to find something out instantly?
Yeah.
Like, can you think about that? There was people who went their whole life without being able to answer a question.
Yeah.
Their whole life.
Which is why it was like, even at school, they taught the capital of Brazil, and all these things. You're taught these useless things. Like, why would we need to learn all of these things now when I can just pick up my phone and Google it?
Yeah, if I
and get
want
the
to
answer?
know what the thing is, I can learn.
Like, it's not an issue anymore.
Because
we don't need to
the
know
way
these things.
we're living is going to change. Like, I think the next thing is going to be about leverage. Like, how do I build systems that I can leverage in my life? Do you know what I mean? And there's a whole bunch of doomsday theories where they think humans are going to become irrelevant. Like, we're going to be the less superior species. But that is going to happen. We're going to be the less superior. This is going to Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, ChatGPT, turned around and said, my kids are never going to be smarter than AI.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to accept that. Like, they're never going to be smarter than it. Ever. They're going to grow up in a world where AI is more intelligent than them.
Yeah.
He's like, and that's just the world they're going to grow up in. He's like, is there downsides to that? Yes, he is, but there's also many upsides. If you like that clip and you want to watch another one, click just over here. And if you want to watch the full episode, click just over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.